Hi everybody, this is Book S Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the brand new Neca Ultimate Striped Suit Beetlejuice figure. So before we take a look at Beetlejuice, let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories that he comes with. So first up, he comes with Baby Beetlejuice, which I suppose you could consider this a mini figure, and Neca did a really good job at sculpting and painting this. The paint detail to the face looks really good. You get all the moss growing on it. The hair is cast in translucent green plastic with a wash of dark green over top of it. The onesie also has a nice dark green wash to it. So that actually looks really good. All the wrinkles are sculpted kind of realistically. He has flat on the bottom, that way he can sit, but he actually sits really well. And you also get a wash to the hands and feet. So yeah, this is sculpted and painted really well, and surprisingly, it also has some really good articulation. It has a ball-jointed head that can look up that far, down just a little bit, side to side, ball-jointed shoulders that can move all the way out and spin all the way around, swivel wrists, ball-jointed hips that can move all the way around and back and forth, and then swivel feet. So yeah, I really thought this was just going to be a solid piece, but it's actually articulated pretty nicely, and that really surprised me. Up next, he comes with a set of open hands. Up next, he comes with an alternate right hand for holding the flyer and the flyer, and it's a really thin accessory. He can't hold it the greatest, but all the details that are printed on there look really good. You can actually make out everything that it says. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I just wish it would have been on a thicker material, something like cardstock. That way he could hold it better. Up next, he comes with an alternate right pointing hand. Up next, he comes with this set of relaxed hands. And finally, he comes with the eyeballs popping out and tongue out head sculpt. And man, this looks awesome. I love the sculpt to the hair, the way it's flying, as well as the dark green wash it has to it. That just looks really good. I feel like the eyeballs might break if you're not too careful switching the heads out. But man, that looks really good. Neca did a very awesome job on this head sculpt. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at the regular head sculpt. So taking a look at this head sculpt, I think Neca did a phenomenal job at sculpting and painting it. It looks just like Michael Keaton in the sequel. I love the different tones of green you get for the moss growing around his head. That looks really nice. I think the paint around the eyes looks really good. I think it's solid paint as well as printed around the edges. That way it fades into his skin tone. Even the little bit of 5 o'clock shadow he has. All the details on there look really nice. He has translucent green plastic hair, and that looks really good. There's two different tones of green. There's a dark green and an even darker green. The darker green is right here towards the top, and the lighter green is on the rest of the hair. And that looks really good because it brings the details out very nicely. Neca did a really awesome job on that. Now, I did want to see if the Bio Exorcist version of Beetlejuice's head sculpt would fit on this ball peg, and it actually does. That's a pretty secure fit. So if you have both Beetlejuice figures, you can switch the head sculpt out there so you can have a first Beetlejuice Ultimate figure. That actually looks really good on there. So yeah, that's another option if you want. The suit has some pretty good sculpt detail to it. I will say the paint could have been better. More on that in a second. But one thing that I really like is they actually painted all of the red on the inside. Because of the way the jacket is sculpted, you won't really see any of the inside. But they did actually paint all of that red on there, so I do appreciate that. They also sculpted the suspenders on there. Now, his jacket and pants do have a bit of wash to them. It's like a brownish wash. It looks like there might also be a little bit of green. But his white suit definitely is off-white now, because it's got that kind of brownish wash to it. I definitely think the stripes could have been painted better, though. A lot of the stripes are wavy, a lot of paint is missing. You get some black paint up here. They did paint the joints black, and for the most part the paint is staying on there, which I'm happy about. But you can see it's chipped off just a little bit. I'm not quite sure why they wouldn't just cast the joint in black. I figure that would be a lot easier than actually going through the trouble of painting the joint there. You can see how haphazardly a lot of the lines are painted on there. You get a lot of white showing through right there, black right here, black up here. The lines just aren't painted that well in the arms or the legs. The legs are definitely better than the arms, but they still have some errors to them as well, like a lot of black paint kind of veering over into the white there, or vice versa. The hands are sculpted and painted really well though. You get a nice brown wash to the hands, as well as some spots of moss where it's growing. They painted the fingernails brown and then outlined them. That looks really good. You even get texturing on the inside of his hands as well as the lines on his palms. So yeah, even the hands are detailed really nicely. Here you can see where a lot of black paint has made it onto the white lines right there, and where a lot of the wrinkles are sculpted, a lot of black paint didn't get painted on there. You get some missing paint right there, missing paint all the way up through on these stripes. And one thing that's irritating is his knees are always going to be bent. I'm not sure why, but yeah, the joints are sculpted in a way that his knees are always going to be bent. And he actually has some decent sculpt detail to his boots, though the way the pants are sculpted, it hinders all articulation there. And then he even has some sculpt detail on the bottoms of his boots. You get the tread sculpted there. So now, let's go ahead and go over his articulation. So he has a ball-jointed head and neck that can look up just a little bit. He can look down all the way, side to side, and all the way around very nicely. He has shoulders that can only move out that far, single-jointed elbows that can bend in that far, swivel wrists that can move side to side and up and down very nicely, a ball-jointed waist that can move back just a little bit, down very slightly, and side to side. He has ball-jointed hips that can only move out that far. He can kick forward very slightly, back just a little bit. He has a really nice thigh swivel, single-jointed knees that feel really, really stiff. That joint feels like you'd break it if you move it too much. Yeah, that feels really fragile. He has a swivel up here in the shin that moves side to side very slightly. The ankles really don't move up or down. There is a swivel there, but the articulation is really limited, and then it doesn't really rock because of the way it's sculpted. So yeah, I definitely wish the articulation would have been a little bit better. The articulation is a bit of a letdown. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up, here he is next to the re-release of the basic Beetlejuice figure. And finally, here he is next to the Ultimate Bio-Exorcist version. So overall, I do like this figure, but it definitely has its flaws. I think the head sculpt looks good. I think that looks great. It's a really, really good likeness of Michael Keaton. And I do think the figure looks great overall, but once you look at it closer, a lot of the paint is put on there really sloppy. You get a bunch of black running onto the white and vice versa, and I think the articulation could have been better, particularly in the legs. I don't like how the knees are always bent, and from the knees down, the articulation is really hindered. You really can't even move his feet at all, so that did bum me out. If you're wanting this, the only place that it's popping up at the moment is Walmart. I'll go ahead and put the UPC up on screen, that way it can hopefully help you find it. It actually did help me find this one. It said that my local Walmart had it in store, and they actually did. So the barcode really helped with finding this figure in particular. So, that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.